And welcome once again to a very special Minecraft City episode. My name is Dr. Wasabi. So we are officially halfway through the second season of the Fallout TV show. And honestly, so many amazing sets, but none so more spectacular than pre-war Los Angeles. And given how we didn't really get a proper view of it during the first scene of the first season, I thought, hey, why not make a beautiful skyscraper inspired by the Fallout TV show? Yes, folks, that's right. But before we go into anything, I just want to say, if you do like what I do here, then please help support me by liking the video, hyping the video, and subscribing. Okay, so without further ado, I believe it's time to get in to our tour. Now, here we go, an absolutely stunning build. So this is inspired by the sort of a ball Jetson style skyscraper we see in about 5 seconds of the pre-war flashback sequence. You know, this is just before we see Robert House in the sort of downtown LA bar. Now, of course, this is all in stunning, vibrant visuals, which really adds to the shadow effect as we see it on the ground. My god. So by far, the two most challenging aspects of the skyscraper was essentially the ball at the top of the tower, and of course, these sort of supports that snake down in a really organic motion. If I had to guess, I probably spent more time on the supports than the actual ball, because, you know, you can just go and plot and generate a sphere and sort of copy and paste. Well, not necessarily copy and paste, but, you know, sort of look at the guide and just make a circle like that. And of course, surrounding the ball is this wonderful sort of Saturnite ring, as you see here. Now, folks, I've got something really special here. We will be showing the skyscraper at night, so make sure to tune into the end of the video for that. Okay, so walking up from the ground level, it is just a towering view, and just look at that vibrant visual glare. My god, that is so beautiful. Also, if you hear like wind and rain in the background, I do apologize. I can't really do a rain dance and make the storm go away outside. We've been pretty hammered this winter with storms in England, so I do apologize. Okay, so going into the secondary lobby I set up, because the proper lobby is up there in the heavens, as it were. So obviously we go up to the elevator. Now obviously I will add either a ladder or a command block to go up there, but obviously you go up here, just have a bit of a leap of imagination, and up we go towards the proper skyscraper. Now, this part of the build was inspired by things like mass fusion, the sort of elevator sequence you have up here, but just look at this, the immense shadow that is covering the supports. My god. And ding ding, we are at the main lobby. Now, the first thing you see, and my favorite part of this build, is this fantastic sort of mid-century aquarium feature, which we do have in the main lobby. And please say hello to Fred, our resident Nautilus on the skyscraper. You know, it is going to be very sad if this thing actually does topple over, because this guy is not surviving that. But yeah, with the vibrant visuals, it adds such an interesting effect with the light rays going through the water and the glass, and it's just so beautiful in my opinion. Obviously, not to glaze myself too much here. Now, the interesting thing about this elevator is that it takes you to the middle slice of the building itself, with an option to go downwards or obviously upwards through the stairs. So walking around, we have the staircase to the upper floors, but we'll save that for later. Now, the main idea for this skyscraper was a bit of a office rental, you know, for businesses or individuals of higher nobility in the Fallout universe to obviously buy or rent a room for their work or what have you. But obviously going downstairs, we have the proper offices. These are individual offices where people just, you know, rent out a room and they can have their own office to eat and drink and see clients and what have you. But we really do see the sort of sphere feature of the skyscraper come into effect with this beautiful sort of arced glassway which goes throughout the entire building. Now, of course, the deeper or higher you go in this building, the more arced and curved the glass becomes. So each floor has its own sort of block theme. I did make sure to have some sort of visual accents, but obviously we have a bit of a lunchroom slash break area over here. Now, this part of the build is, of course, the diner slash break room. It was inspired by the sort of faux diners you see in the vault atriums in Fallout. You know, the sort of homely aspect about the home, if you will. But going to the bottom floor is where things get really funky, in my opinion. So obviously going down here, we have all sorts of things. We have the computers. We have a wonderful sort of arced glassway over here. Now, what's really interesting about the higher and lower interior spaces is that because of the supports of the building, it has to be incorporated into the interior style itself. So these little raises are not actually part of the decoration. They are part of the main support structure, which keeps the main building and sphere aloft. Okay, now I do admit it is somewhat of a maze getting through this, but again, if you're thinking about it, if you've got your own individual office, you know exactly where it is and what route to take. So going back to the lobby floor, all we have to do is go up the stairs towards the more higher and more prestigious floors for offices and what have you. Now, going into the main or tertiary lobby, I might say, we have a beautiful view view of the main elevator shaft, because the way the support structures work is that they branch out towards the sphere, and we don't really need a center pillar. So I thought, hey, this would be a really nice sort of window feature into the absolute abyss that awaits below. So this is where the higher paid clients will get their offices, and of course the computer labs, and this is where the lighting effects goes really well with the vibrant visuals, because of course the glassway is curving upwards towards the center, so we get a nice little ray of sunshine as we are quite high up. If you look outside, we are so high above the skyline, my god. Now this is where most of the computer labs are located. Obviously loads of computers, loads of goodness in that, you know, sort of Fallout computer style, as it were. Now this is where of course things get quite prestigious as you go higher up the building. So on this sort of final floor we have both the bar area and the conference room, and I really wanted to go for a sort of a earthy stone texturing to match these sort of supports that go above the sphere and around the building itself. And of course this is the main conference room, a beautiful carved stone table with loads of chairs, a bit of a typewriter for the secretary to take notes, and of course who could forget the coffee table, you know, because these are high-flying executives, so they're probably running on 3 hours sleep every day. What a way to live. But of course it wouldn't be a mid-century conference table without a massive bar full of food and drinks. Now of course we do have the new blocks to operate with. I was going to use item frames, but I thought, hey, why not use the new blocks, and I think they work really well as sort of gradient of color that we see here. Now one cool thing that I did experiment with was the lecterns as a sort of shaggy carpet texture. Now I'm not necessarily sold on it, but I think the in-depth texturing works so well I decided to keep it. And I just realized something, I forgot to put in the toilets. Okay, so that is our main tour for the building itself. Now, I did promise you we would get a nighttime view of this, so allow me to change the times. Oh my goodness, what a sight indeed. Now, almost like the Lucky 38, it does share that sort of Seattle Space Needle mid-century vibe, but obviously instead of a sort of rectangle on top, it is a massive sphere. You know, really going for the mid-century space age design here. And what a final shot, folks. As the sun raises itself over Warden City, we get a fantastic sunrise view of the main building itself. Now, folks, I'm still deciding on a name for this little guy, so if you can, please give some name suggestions in the comment section below. It will be greatly appreciated. And so, there we have it, folks. A full showcase of my amazing skyscraper as inspired by the first and second seasons of the Fallout TV show. Honestly, it's been such an experience recreating this amazing Fallout skyscraper in Minecraft. Even though it doesn't have a name, I'm really glad it's found a place in my city. You know, given how this part of the district of my city is going to be so densely packed, I think this would be a crowning jewel to the city itself. But again, folks, that's been our video. Again, sorry for the rain if you do hear it, nothing I can do about that. If you like what I do and you want to support me, please help me by liking the video, hyping the video, and subscribing. My name has been Dr. Wasabi. I bid you a most pleasant good morning, good evening, or good night, and of course, as always, God bless.